Financial literacy. You and your money. We are starting our financial literacy unit, and we're going to use a couple of different tools. The first tool that we're going to use is the Moolah Personality Quiz. You can find this in Infinite Campus. Make sure you download this Word document and save it to your desktop. You're going to fill out your answers on the Word document. The directions are on there. And you're going to determine your own personality type. Even though it's called a quiz, it's more like a BuzzFeed quiz. It's just answering some questions and figuring out what your personality type is. Once you have determined your personality type by self-scoring the document, you're going to highlight your personality type using Word's highlighting tool. You can also change the font color if you'd rather. Save that document, and then you're going to turn it into Infinite Campus. Also in Infinite Campus, you're going to comment whether you agree or disagree with the results of the quiz and why. You're going to do that in the student response section. So let's talk about you and your money. What is money? Well, money can be anything, but it's got three functions. Money always works as a medium of exchange. And by medium, I just mean a way to exchange things. Money also measures value and it stores value. Those are the three functions of money. And like I said, money can be anything. Money used to be things like this. The earliest form of money used by Native Americans in the 1640s and earlier was called wampum, and it was just black or white seashells. The English settlers brought shillings and pounds over this kind of pound, but the Native Americans didn't want to trade for pieces of paper or metal. They did not find value in that. So when money works as a medium of exchange, money is anything generally accepted that performs these three functions of money that I already listed. Examples that we've used in the past: gold, silver, copper. We've used fish hooks, shells, tobacco leaves, whale's teeth. So it's anything that people agree has value. And also money can store value. So you can stuff it in a mattress, you can put it in your wallet, you can put it in the bank, set it in a vault. When you take it out later, it still holds the same value. It spends the same. Okay, so like if your employer paid you in cheeseburgers and you stuffed all your cheeseburgers in the mattress until you're ready to go buy a new basketball, those cheeseburgers would not be worth anything once you actually put them in the mattress, right? Nobody wants a squished, old, rotten cheeseburger. It loses its value. So cheeseburger could not be a good money, for example. Money does help to measure value. It helps buyers and sellers agree on a value. If you were a chicken farmer and you wanted to pay your hired hand to help you, how many chickens per hour should you pay them? Or how many chickens does a basketball cost? See, we get into some trouble there when you're doing a straight barter system. Qualities of money. Money is stable. It's stability. It doesn't change much. The value doesn't change much. It's portable, so it's small and light enough to carry. It's durable, so you wash a $20 bill, it comes out of the washing machine pretty much the same way that it went in. Uniformity means a quarter is a quarter. You recognize this is money and it has a certain value. Also, divisibility is important. You need to be able to make change for your money. It's really hard to make change for a chicken, for example. And then recognizability. You have to be able to say, yep, that's a quarter, but it needs to be difficult to copy or forfeit. Okay, so the next idea we're going to talk about is the circular flow of money. The circular flow of money kind of looks complicated here, but it's really pretty easy. Every day in your household, somebody gets up and goes to work. When they go to work, they are providing labor and resources to the market for resources. And then the businesses take that labor and they say thank you very much, and they make products and services out of it for which they put up for sale at a market like Walmart, and they sell back to the households. Okay, so that's the one direction of money, and I made that red instead of blue, but I probably need to switch the color here to green. We're talking about money now. So you don't get stuff for free. The households over here have to spend their money at the market to buy goods and services. That money, of course, goes to the businesses. The businesses take that money and they pay the wages to the households. Okay, so that we've got one direction of money going this way and the other direction of money going the other way. Key terms I want you to know. Interest. Interest is the money the bank pays you for the use of your money. They're using your money when you're saving it. They're not just putting it in the vault. They're investing it in other people that need loans. So they're going to pay you interest, which is a small amount of money that they pay you for the use of your money. Another key concept is how to access your money. Automatic teller machine or an ATM. The website we're going to use is going to show you exactly how to use one of these. If you never have, you get to fake it on the website. Another key term, value. Value, the regard that something is held to deserve the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. So it's what we all agree something is worth. And then we're going to talk about how to earn more money. The term earning power. You have more earning power if you have more education, more computer skills, more math and science skills, writing skills, things like that help you to earn more money per hour, per year. Okay? So let's jump right into the website. The website is up on the board projected.